Technology adoption in the agriculture sector is key for value chain development, for improved productivity and efficiency, for impact to be realized. The Forum for Agricultural Research in Africa, a trailblazer in Africa's agricultural research, has gone further to address how technologies along value chains can be upskilled under the Technology for Africa Agricultural Transformation Project, commonly known as TAAT.
The ideal of TAAT resonates very well with the central objective of FARA. FARA, as the Forum for Agricultural Research in Africa, our aim is to ensure that technologies are generated, disseminated, and are utilized to bring forth socio-economic benefits to all stakeholders along the agricultural value chain and translate this eventually into national development. And so the ideal of TAAT is actually to bring technologies to deliver impact at scale.
TAAT, the name itself, is about technologies for African agricultural transformation. People are referring to it as potentially the green revolution in Africa, where the African Union has stated that it would like to double agricultural productivity by 2025. And this is part of the response to this challenge of can we as Africans double agricultural productivity. So the focus of TAAT is about scaling technologies that have already been proven in the field and to take it out to scale. Now, if you want to scale these technologies, which have been generated by research institutions and so on, you need to involve the community, the stakeholders along the value chain, and they are the ones who can actually propel these technologies to the scale we require to be able to produce the food for Africa. They said Africans should feed Africa.
The program was informed by the growing food demand at a time where technology, be it hard or software, must be incorporated in value chains.
Problems of agriculture, I'll say that they are age-long. But we have experienced in the last 10 years a bit of changes. But we still have strong issues around the issues of productivity, market for the product, issues of policy, then principally issues of the transformation of the livelihood of the smallholder farmers that pervade the terrain in Africa agriculture. In short, we've got to work very hard to ensure that agriculture that engages more than 65% of the population in Africa deliver food and nutritional security for us, deliver sustainable livelihood, respond to many socio-cultural problems that we have on the continent.
To disseminate this proven technology, TAAT has been piloted across 10 African countries, which include Ethiopia, Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, Mali, Zambia, and Malawi. The project is focusing on technologies geared towards commodities commonly known as compacts. These include rice, maize, cassava, wheat, sorghum and millet, fish, small ruminants, and sweet potatoes. TAAT's role is to capacity build trainers from these focus countries who will work with technology providers via innovation platforms to drive the uptake of these innovations in the selected commodity compacts.
Past approaches to R&D have also not been comprehensively engaging all relevant stakeholders, thus leading to the gaps in achievement of the expected goals of the many initiatives that have been there. In short, the environment for a thriving agricultural sector has still not yet been reached. Towards seeking a solution to this challenge, this workshop will expose the participants to the Agricultural Innovation Systems Framework and its operationalization through innovation platforms, how to establish and manage them. I'm very excited about this.
We are focusing on how do we build capacity of the national stakeholders to do the scaling of these technologies. So while other compacts, what they call compacts, are focusing on transferring the technology, making it accessible, but we're helping now the national system to do the upscaling. We're calling it, there's a process of commercialization of the technologies to scale. Eventually, the idea is that the industrialists will invest in agriculture as a sector.
Kenya played host to a training for East African Cohort countries for an in-depth understanding of how the program works and the expected outcomes.
This training is organized at a time which is very important to ensure that we get a capacity which will be responsible for the scaling out of these technologies. So what we've been talking about is how we can be able to set the innovation platforms that will assist the commodity compact leaders to be able to scale out the technologies that they have to a number of farmers in Africa.
What I learned is that setting the innovation platform, it's not an easy job and it's not a one-person job. So I learned that when I go back there, I have to work with others, but because we have been trained to train others, I will take a step forward to make sure that I train other people to be at the same foot.
This event also offered great insights for the delegates on how they must streamline their organization structures for impact to be realized.
This training is very important for us. Before we came to here, our management, agriculture sector management, discussed about how we are performing different activities. For example, we are not integrated even within the ministry. So we raised issues. How can we integrate? Before we are looking outside, before we are looking NGOs or private sectors, it needs to integrate within the ministry also, within our management. For example, me, I am Extension Directorate. I'm not very integrated with Crop Directorate and also Horticulture Directorate, Mechanization Directorate. So we need to strengthen internal coordination before we go to outside.
Our organization, being stakeholders in innovation platform, kind of, because it brings all the actors together, plays a pivotal role in coordinating these partners together to be able to have more impact at the level of the farmers. And what is very, very interesting with the TAAT is that these technologies have been there in the shelves, but it's the high time we are moving this proven technology to the farmers. Because at the end of the day, the most important end user is the farmer. So all the approaches and the methodology and people working together, we really promote the uptake of this technology by the farmers.
With most youth yearning for inclusion in the agriculture sector, this program has factored their involvement, noting that they account for majority of active population across the continent.
Coming for a youth organization is, first of all, it's showing like the cries that the youths have been making that you're not being included in most of these processes. It's been hard. And like most of these big organizations, let's say, for example, this FARA, is like it's realized the importance of also working with the youths in agriculture. They've realized that the youths, in as much as it's usually said that they're leaders of tomorrow, they're not the leaders of tomorrow, they're leaders of today. You need to involve them in some of these programs for you to ensure the sustainability, because they're the ones who are going to continue. Like, let's say, for example, this TAAT program, they're the ones who are going to continue and carrying it on. So that's why I think it is very important. It shows like our like advocating for involvement of us, the young people. Yes, it's working. We've started getting involved here right now.
Given the magnitude of the project, proper coordination is paramount. TAAT is working with partner organizations which will support the compacts and the countries. For example, in East Africa, TAAT is working with the Association for Strengthening Agricultural Research in Eastern and Central Africa, commonly known as ASARECA.
What we're going to do in coordination, we're basically going to supervise the implementation of these activities. We're also going to do monitoring and evaluation. We're also going to do some level of quality control in terms of implementation of these activities, and above all, we'll also do reporting on implementation of these activities. We shall be working together with our national focal persons in these respective countries where TAAT will be implemented.
As the conference wound up, it was evident that projects like TAAT are key in addressing the gaps in the agricultural sector. Once well piloted, such initiatives are testament that Africa can feed itself as envisioned under the Feed Africa strategy by the African Development Bank. To find out more about the Technology for African Agricultural Transformation project, that's TAAT, visit the FARA website on www.faraafrica.org.